What's up, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry Sisters review. This is season 4, episode 18, entitled Enemy of Mine. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if that's what you choose to. If not, just sit back and relax, and we're going to get right into this thing. Now, y'all already know we pick up where we left off with Zach, Andy, and Fatima, and they are in the hold, not the holding cell, but they're in the interrogation room with the district attorney. And basically, you know, after he lets them know that they're going for like, I think it was like 15 years, and he just walked out. He just walked out after he delivered such horrible news. And so Andy was like, you know what, let me see if I can make some phone calls. And she walks out, leaving Fatima and Zach in there alone. So Zach feels like he should be able to take care of things on his own without the help, aid, or assistance from the women in his life. And I agree with him wholeheartedly. I agree with everything that he said. And so he began to name people by name. Andy, Danny, Fatima. And Fatima was like, and Karen. I was like, why Karen is involved, sis? He didn't say nothing about Karen. We all know he was thinking it, but he didn't say it. So why you had to say Karen? I said, But this is Tyler Perry's way of always finding a way to weave Zach and Karen into each other's lives and into each other's storylines. And I do agree, like I said, what Zach stated about being able to take care of things on his own. Because from the very beginning of Sisters, we have always seen the women gather around him, to me, coddle him in certain ways, baby him. And it's just like, yes, he definitely needs to stand on his own and do things on his own. And however, you can't do something illegal and expect your life to be like all hunky-dory. Like, there are consequences to your decisions. You know what I'm saying? There are ramifications to what you've done, and you just ain't finna get off scot-free with the whole stock market thing. We already know that. And so Fatima had made a statement about breaking him out of jail, and he was like, basically like, you playing right. Nah, I told you I was crazy. And I said, Tyler, we get it. I don't know how many times we have heard Fatima state that she's crazy. We all know that. We all know that it's a fact. She doesn't have to say it every episode. It's like, at this point, who gives a damn? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't nobody care. I mean, I know I don't at this point, because it's been said so much that it defeats any type of purpose. That's just to me. That's just me. But I'm just saying, we don't have to know that Fatima is crazy every episode. So we get to Robin and Andy calls Robin about Zach, and Robin asks Andy if she trusts Zach, and Andy says yes. And then he asks if she's willing to stick her neck out for him, because like, she's asking a lot. And Andy says yes. And I'm sorry, Andy is dumb as hell. Andy is dumb as hell, because history has shown me on this show that Zach would not do the same thing for her. I'm sorry. If Andy is not in a position where she's trying to help Zach out of a situation or lend her expertise when it comes to the law, Zach disrespects this woman. He has come at her crazy. He done called her out her name. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't stick my neck out for him. Because what loyalty has he shown you? Like, why you riding so hard? And I do understand that she feels like she owes Fatima, and maybe Zach is just reaping the benefit of that, you know, secondhand. But I'm just like, baby girl, I'm sorry, I wouldn't do it. Like I said in my preview, for those who listen to it, I just feel like Andy is too close to this situation, and she just need to take a couple steps back, because this whole thing with Zach and Fatima, and I know they're not done, you know, wreaking havoc in each other's lives. And I'm just like, baby girl, just step away. You know, be cool with her from afar. And so we get to cue Maurice and Calvin, and I just can't be invested in this storyline. Y'all already know how I feel about it, and I know how a lot of y'all feel about it too. But we have Q telling Maurice that he's gonna go look for a job and that he was tired of hustling. And I'm like, this is why I can't care about this character, because just the night before, he was telling Calvin how, you know what I'm saying, he's willing to do whatever he needs to do to make sure that he's all right, to take care of self, whether it's lie, cheat, steal from man or woman. He's willing to do that. And it's just like, but you tired of hustling. You want to get a job. You don't want to be this person no more. But just last night, you were basically praising yourself for being that person. I'm like, get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here. So this was my question. So when Maurice showed Calvin the picture, and Q was like, you see all those pills of throw up, like, I helped you. And Calvin was like, well, why don't you have any clothes on? And he was like, I was asleep and I came in to help you. And I'm like, okay, that may have been true, but why you had shoes on? Something about that entire situation just didn't sit well with me. And we remember where Calvin's head was. Something about that. I just don't trust Q. So we get to Karen and Aaron. So Aaron comes in and he tells Aaron that he accidentally took her keys. And so she lets him know that she has her keys. He thought that maybe she was locked out, so he came to the shop. And we find out that the keys belong to Zach. And I'm thinking, when was the last time Zach was actually at her house on her couch for his keys to be there? Lazy ass writing. So, anyway, she tells Aaron that it was a long time ago. And I'm like, obviously, it was a long time ago. And Pam said exactly what I was thinking. Like, if it was that long ago and Zach hasn't asked about the keys, get rid of them. Just discard them. So he asked if he could see her tonight. She says yes. And he lets her know that he'll be there and he'll bring the pickles and ice cream. So Karen asked Pam to call Zach to come get his keys. And Pam was like, Zach's still in jail. She basically wanted to know how much Karen knew because she already knew the tea. And so, but Pam, like I said, Pam said what I was thinking. If it's been that long and he hasn't asked about the keys, then he obviously doesn't need them. And so, but like I said, this is another way for Tyler Perry to weave Zach and Karen into each other's storylines. And the saga of Zach and Karen continues, which I know most of us are tired of because we just don't care. 99.99% of us do not want Karen and Zach together. So I do understand why Tyler would continue to weave them, because he just may do something dumb as far as putting them back together when it's all said and done. And I don't want to see that happen. And I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, well, they got a Zatima spinoff. It don't matter. It doesn't matter. We're dealing with Tyler Perry. So, like I said, Pam knew that Zach was in jail, but Karen told her to call to see when Zach was getting out so he could come by and get his keys. Because we know, I think it's episode 20, her and Zach are supposed to have another damn conversation about her feelings, which I don't even understand why, but I guess it's setting up to that. So we get to Sabrina and Bayo. This was a very, very short scene. And basically in the scene, she lets Bayo know that she knows that he's a prince. And he's just like, I don't know. How do you know? And so she tells him, like, they met some women from his country at the store. And he was basically telling her, like, in the United States, he's basically nobody. But in his country, it's small. And, of course, he's a prince, so it's a big thing. And so he wants to see her tonight, later on that night. And he'll have a driver come because that's the way you're supposed to treat a princess. So he leaves. Maurice had me hollering when he did the Color Purple reference. It took me slap out. Oh, mama. Oh, no. I said, this is a nut. And just when I'm laughing at Maurice, I'm enjoying it. He brings up Calvin to Sabrina. Why? Why are you bringing up Calvin to Sabrina? You want her to indulge this rich guy, yet and still you bring up Calvin, yet and still you still calling this woman out her name. And it's so, like, insulting at this point. Like, how many B's is Sabrina gonna be from Maurice? It's crazy. Bringing up Calvin, which is another way to keep him alive in her storyline, which, I don't think we give a damn about. I don't know many people who want them together anyway. And so going back to something that Calvin said in his scene with Maurice and Q, he was basically telling Maurice not to start rumors because that's why him and Sabrina are in the situation or the predicament they're in now. And I'm like, no, you and Sabrina are in the situation y'all are in now because both of y'all are immature. You don't stick to what you say. Y'all are not definitive when it comes to your decision making when dealing with each other. Sabrina really don't trust that you are a heterosexual man. It's just certain things that she does not like. And when it comes to Calvin too, I feel like Calvin has been very disrespectful. If I was him, I wouldn't want to be with Sabrina, because Sabrina has done some foul things. And if I was Sabrina, I wouldn't want to be with him, because I feel like Calvin does what he does. He lives his life. He sexes who he want to sex. But when it comes to Sabrina, he thinks she's supposed to keep herself until he, like, I don't get him. Like, I really don't get him. Like, she's not supposed to be with anybody else. But anyway, that's that on that. So we get to Danny and Logan. Okay. Logan is fine. Now, I don't know what, I've never looked at him like that. But tonight when I saw him, I was like, ooh, Logan is sexy. Logan looked really good. Maybe, him dressing up differently brought out another side of him that I thought was really appeasing to the eye. I was like, all right, Logan, okay, I see you. But it was a quick scene. Him and Danny are meeting at 7. And I said, I guess everyone is meeting at 7. The theme of this episode should have been, where was Usher at 7 o'clock? Because everybody is meeting at 7 o'clock. Everybody with their little boo, Karen and Aaron, Robin and Andy, Sabrina and Bayo, now Danny and Logan, everybody meeting at 7. So Jake pulls up to Zach's house because he's looking for him, and he is met by a contractor. The contractor is upset because Zach owes him money. Zach owes him money. Zach hasn't been returning his phone calls, his text messages. So he showed up to the house waiting for Zach. But we know that Zach is in jail. So Jake pays off the contractor. Then he calls Andy to speak to Fatima. And so Andy gets all the tea from Jake, who lets her know that he works with Gary, and Gary was the one who introduced him to Zach to help him. And Andy was like, how do y'all know each other? And he was like, we all play basketball together. Now, with Andy, far as we know, Jake is innocent. He's not a person who is trying to get over on Zach. He's actually really trying to help him and be a friend or whatever. And so Andy was like she was direct, but she was very like aggressive to the point of like, I'm like, Andy, you don't know this man. And we all know, if you want to know the tea, you play the role. Oh, how do you know him? That's how y'all met. How long have y'all been playing basketball? I'm like, you a lawyer. Chill out. Pump the brakes a little bit. Be a little bit more welcoming. And maybe you get a little bit more information. So that's how we find out. But I need y'all to help me with something, because Jake said something. I'm like, is this Tyler forgetting what happened? Could it be my memory? If I remember correctly, when Zach got arrested, not this time, but the last time, I believe, didn't Zach asked Jake to call Fatima or get in touch with Fatima, something like that, and I think Jake sent her a text message. So I'm like, if that was the case, why did he ask Andy for Fatima's telephone number? That threw me off. Like, that part threw me off. And so Andy was like, well, I would give her your number. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. So Preston shows up. Preston calls Danny and asks about Zach, if she's seen Zach. And Danny lets him know that Zach is in jail. Preston asked if anyone was getting him out. And Danny said, I'm sure Captain Fatima is on it. And that tickled me, because she wasn't lying. She wasn't lying at all. She knew Captain Save-A-Hole was going to be on her job. Every time when she said Captain Fatima, I thought about Captain Planet. Captain Planet, he's a hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. Like, that's like, Fatima needs a theme song, because she's constantly saving. She's constantly in the role of rescuing. I'm sorry, that was funny to me. Captain Fatima on the job, you feel me? But anyway, so Robin lets Andy know that Zach will be getting out soon. Robin also tells Andy that he spoke to Zach's probation officer, and he said that Zach was a role model. Tyler Perry, get the hell out of here. A role model? A role model? A role model? Really? Like, Tyler, I know Zach is your favorite sister, okay? I know Zach is your favorite person on this damn show, but come on. He is nobody's role model. No one character on this show is a role model. So when when Robin said that, I was like, you know what? I don't know what it was. It wasn't even like this was a bad episode. I just think the writing was lazy. Like, this was some lazy writing. I felt like it was so much like elementary dialogue going on, which we already know that's what it is. So it doesn't even make a point for me to reference it every review. But this one, I was just like, it was just so, even with Aaron and Karen, it was like, yeah, okay, yeah, can I come over? Sure. I'm gonna bring some pickles and ice cream. Yeah. All right then. Okay. I'm like, can we have fluid dialogue? Can we have a regular grown-up ass conversation? What is going on right now? Like, what is really going on? So, anyway, Andy calls Fatima and lets Fatima know that Zach gonna be getting out and how quickly could she get to the jail. Fatima said 2 seconds. And I said, you know what? I can't even hate on you, sis, because if my man was in jail, which he wouldn't be, but if my man was in jail and he was getting out, I'd be there in 2.5 seconds too. So Gary, well, before I get to that, so Fatima and Andy are there at the jail, and Fatima, and see, this is why I said lazy ass writing, because Fatima and Andy were talking as if Robin had not been to Andy's place, because she was like, okay, what's that smile for? And she was talking about how she was going to invite him over. She was like, yeah, Gary bought that place. She was like, yeah, I know, but this is going to be the test to see if it's really my place. And I said, is it? You already had Robin there. You already did the do or close to it, whatever. We didn't see the whole thing, but you've already had sex with Robin in your house. So I'm not understanding like what made this time any different. And that's why I say, like, when watching SISTAS, it's so easy to bash this show, and I really, really try my best not to. But it's one of those things, like, when you're watching the show and something don't add up, and you're like, wait a minute, didn't just last week this, like, you got to do too much thinking when you're watching this, or it makes you feel like, did I see something that I really didn't see, or what? It's too much of that, and it's just because the writing is just really bad. Like, there's no other way around it. So Zach gets out. Of course, him and Fatima are happy to see each other. And, she felt bad again about, what happened. And she felt like she got him involved in that. And they did like this little banter about, birds of a feather go to jail together. I said, yeah, y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. So we get to Aaron and Gary. So Aaron shows up to Gary's office where he finds the telescope and realizes that, Gary has been spying on Andy. And Aaron is just like, dude, like, what the hell is wrong with you? And, excuse me, I already knew that Gary was this selfish asshole. Gary is selfish to the utmost degree. And Gary is a pick-me for real. Oh, this is what I did. This is what I bought. How could she do this to me? I did this for us. And it's like, dude, you already understand the level where you and Andy was at. You made a decision to buy all of this stuff for her because you thought it would make her love you or make her get back with you, which is what Aaron told him. However, when Aaron was speaking, I said, Aaron, I hope you letting that word, my brother, seep down into your spirit, because I'm going to need you to have that same energy for yourself when it comes to your situation with Karen. And I thought this was a real moment, because it's so easy at times to speak a word to somebody else or speak on someone else's situation when you in the same damn boat. Because if we go back when Aaron and Karen finally had sex and then they had their conversation, he told Karen that he felt like them having sex would make things better, would make it better, like would make things easier, and it didn't. And basically, like, you had sex with her because you wanted her to pick you. You was a pick me for a little bit. Like, you wanted her to pick you. You wanted her to choose you over Zach. You wanted her to love you in the way that you saw her have these unresolved feelings for Zach. And it's like, you basically doing the same thing. You're just doing it in another way. And I think that Aaron is a little bit more passive and compassionate with his stuff. Even though I think he's real about it, He just has a different way of doing it. So when he was speaking, I'm like, I really hope you let this seep down in your spirit, sir, because you're doing the same exact thing. You're wanting this woman to love you. However, she has told him that. She's told him that, but she need to deal with her own stuff. And I just think, continuing to be nice is just that. Continuing to be nice. Being nice doesn't get you the woman at times. Being nice don't get you what you really want. So it's like, I just want to see Aaron have that same type of energy, for himself, have that same type of like discipline that he wants Gary to have. But he was very adamant about Gary not speaking to Andy until he calmed down, which I do agree, because we know that Gary has the ability and the capacity and the will to put his hands on Andy. And that is something that I do not want to see happen again, but we know he can do it. We know that he's mad. We know that he's angry, and he just really doesn't have a right to be. And that's how the show ends. That's how the show ends. I don't know. Everybody meeting at 7. I don't know what's supposed to happen. Usher should have just been playing throughout this whole damn episode. We just should have heard the guitar. Doom, doom, ah, doom, 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 doom. We should have been hearing it the whole time. Hey, baby, tell me what you want to do with me. That's it. Because everybody meeting at 7 o'clock. Let me stop. But thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for commenting. Thank you guys for being engaged in the comments. I thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah. So I'll holler at y'all later. Until next time, y'all be safe out there.